Champions League nights are simply unforgettable. Not just for Jadon Sancho, but for all of us. Right, Preston? How are you, mate?
I am doing well, and I 100% wholeheartedly agree with you, Alex. That was nothing but entertaining football in the first leg, and I cannot wait for next in the resolution of what were two incredibly exciting matchups, actually. A whole lot more exciting than I think any of us fully expected, considering that two of these guys are out of their domestic championship races and the other two have basically locked up theirs. So it really all came down to this, man. But which one did you find more exciting? Was it Dortmund PSG or yeah, which one was it?
Look, I thought the Dortmund was very interesting, especially for the Edin Terzic tactics off ball to play against this PSG team. That I want to shout out masterclass of Matt Hummels, okay? One of the best matches I've seen of Matt Hummels in recent years. Man of the match for a reason. He was on top of Kylian Mbappe all the time, okay? All the time. So big respect to a player like him. Schlotterbeck, I also want to give a lot of recognition. But for me, the best of the two was the Bayern Real. I think this Bayern team knows how to play against a Jude Bellingham. And that's why I think it's a very good test to see how is he going to react in the Bernabeu, Jude Bellingham, okay? Jude Bellingham versus Bayern Munich, the record is 9 games, 0 wins, 2 draws, 7 losses, and 0 goals scored. So if Jude Bellingham's going to win a Ballon d'Or, it's by proving it by breaking this record and scoring at least a goal and being instrumental towards Real Madrid going to the final. That I could totally believe it can happen. We've never seen Jude Bellingham have 2 bad games against against the same team in a row this season.
No, and I think there's also a difference in teammates here, and if that record is going to be broken, or if he's going to get his first real win against Bayern Munich, then I think it's going to come. We know likely with another Vinicius Junior masterclass, or a Toni Kroos masterclass, or Antonio Rudiger getting handsy with the nipples, or something like that, or maybe a callback to Thibaut Courtois or another Andre Lunin masterclass. But I think the difference,
Militão could be playing.
True. The difference in teammates, right? The difference in teammates this particular time around is really interesting to me. But I actually really loved what Thomas Tuchel did to start this game. I mean, it was a little bit of a tactical switch that really allowed Musiala and Sané to be kind of really on the offensive, and for them to have enough space to kind of counteract until, of course, we had a Kim Min-jae kind of positioning issue, and then it was just an absolute howler for the guy that we saw kind of ascend and become the absolute prince or king of Napoli, and now is not so much anymore at Bayern Munich. But no, I thought Thomas Tuchel, I thought the first 45 minutes were really good. The first 25 minutes were phenomenal when Harry Kane was involved. And then Ancelotti seemed to kind of, he took the punches, and he was able to kind of get what he needed to kind of snuff out Harry Kane again. It was Musiala and Sané that were the most brutal, I think, to Real Madrid's back line. But there's no mistake about it, Alex, right? Make no bones about it, okay? A draw at the Allianz Arena for Real Madrid is essentially a win, is it not?
I think it's not really a win, but it's good enough. I don't want to say it's a win because I do think Real Madrid had the players to beat Bayern Munich in the situation that Bayern is. I do agree with you hardly that Thomas Tuchel once again showed that he's a very good tactician towards teams that he can prepare himself. He knew he was going to go against Real Madrid if he were to pass. So it's like he knew what he had to do, and I think Real Madrid are going to go through. I'm going to put that out there straight away and tell us in the comment section. We want to see you guys. Go bold in the comment section. Community, go bold first. Like this video and comment your predictions, okay? Since we're saying ours. But this Bayern team, I've never seen this Bayern culture so weak as it is right now. For me, the fact that since Thomas Tuchel has It's been said that he's going to leave. He's Bayern Munich have been rejected by Xabi Alonso. They've been rejected by Julian Nagelsmann. They've been rejected now by Ralf Rangnick. Ralf Rangnick, with all due respect, he's the manager of the Austrian national team. It shows character that he doesn't leave, just like Xabi Alonso. But still, it shows that Bayern are in a much weaker position, and it's good news for Xabi Alonso with Leverkusen, RB Leipzig, that they are going to win a Bundesliga eventually. It might be bold to say in the next 10 years, but Red Bull Leipzig for sure is a Champions League team, or we expect the team to be in the Champions League. Dortmund, Bayern. So there's a lot of quality in the German league still. And now Leverkusen obviously still undefeated. So people that say it's a farmers league, they clearly don't know ball. They don't watch football since 2012 because the final in London between Bayern Munich and Dortmund at their Klassiker was in 2012, 2013, 11 years ago. That happened, and it could happen again. I don't think it will.
Arjen.
Because Bellingham, you gotta show you're inevitable, and Kylian Mbappe, show that you're the best player in the world. So a lot is happening.
A lot is happening. But that Bayern Real Madrid game, the Harry Kane, it's such a weird thing. Obviously, he winds up scoring a goal, penalty kick, but he really was not there for about 60, 70 minutes of the game. I'm not sure if you agree per se, but he still broke his own record for most goals in a Champions League campaign by an Englishman, and it was his own record. So kudos to him. But I think the real star of the day and why Real Madrid are probably smiling heading back with a draw to the Bernabeu is obviously Vinny. And listen, we're going to go through probably copious amounts of stats today and maybe even over the weekend during our podcast. But that's now 10 or more goal involvements in his last 3 UCL campaigns. And he has a goal involvement every 70 minutes this particular time around. And Alex, in 45 Champions League starts, he has 42 goal involvements in the Champions League. Not to mention he has scored in every UCL semifinal over the last 3 years. I mean, Vinny is a big game player. He'll likely score in the final when Real Madrid get through as well. But my goodness, I mean, whether it's Kim Min-jae, whether it's Eric Dyer, whether it's Dio Upamecano or Matthijs de Ligt, you knew at some point Vinny was going to get that through ball or a through ball.
Breton.
And
false nine.
Beautiful stuff.
I think we got a confirmation that Vinny can play false nine. So the people that are saying Kylian Mbappe, he's playing striker 100%. Look, they'll play between each other. Vinny and Mbappe will be switching positions non-stop at Real Madrid. So the fact that we saw Vinny playing at false nine this game against Bayern Munich, it showed a lot. And in the last three editions of the Champions League, Vinicius Junior is the first in goal involvements. Okay, 31.
There you go.
He's the first in assists, 15. He's the first in key passes, 66. He's the first in duels, 204. And he's the first in dribbles, 101. And people still say he's 9th for the Ballon d'Or. People still say he's not one of the best players in the world. Those people clearly don't watch football. And this is clearly a fact that shows he can do it. See the words of Ancelotti. Him himself says that Vinicius Junior is a player that will win a Ballon d'Or. And if you know Carlo Ancelotti's resume, Kaká, Shevchenko's, it's so many players. He says that about Vini. So 23 years old.
Ancelotti is not a man for hyperbole.
Exactly.
So when he showers somebody with plaudits like that, it's generally well deserved. I think we all know that. I think the people that don't think Vinicius is class are people that have problem with Vinicius
clearly
individually.
That's
it. It's really just kind of a blind derangement type of situation that goes on when we can all see it. And the other person on the pitch, obviously, I know we're going to talk about, but Toni Kroos. I mean, my goodness, there is a really real pathway for Toni Kroos, to find himself in the top 5 in the Ballon d'Or in the future. Is there not?
La Liga winner,
If he's on
Champions
the pitch,
League winner, and winning the Euro with Germany. I think
Yeah,
that would make
with him.
Kroos
Yeah, with him as the
top 10.
knight, right?
Think,
The knight in shining armor coming back to save the team and give
uh,
Musiala and give the stability for Musiala and Wirtz to shine at their own Euros. Yeah, I think
let me
top
ask you
5
this, though.
for
Let
sure.
me ask you this. Bayer Leverkusen become an undefeated team in the history of football, and they win the European treble with the Europa League. Florian
Oh
Wirtz
my gosh.
gets in the... sorry, gonna redo it. If
Yeah.
Germany win the Euros, and
Yes.
Bayer Leverkusen are an undefeated team with the European treble, that would make Wirtz a player
Yeah.
that was key for the European treble and the Euro 2024. And then we have Kroos that wins La Liga, wins Champions League maybe, and with the Euros 1-2, he's top 10 in the Ballon d'Or. Do you think that will happen or could happen?
I do think it can. The Europa League,
Nagelsmann.
where I'm drawing the line here, I guess, is the Europa League, right,
mate.
for Wirtz.
Nagelsmann just looks so good with this. He convinces Kroos to come back. Füllkrug is a semi-final goal scorer, okay? People that say Füllkrug is a bad striker, they don't watch Champions League football. And
dude took his chance.
Musiala, Wirtz, you got Rudiger, one of the best center backs in the world in form. Ter Stegen, that people sleep on. Gundogan, Kimmich. Man, this team could do proper damage. So,
well,
Bretzen,
can we just wipe out Ter Stegen's mistake for Barcelona over the past weekend? Just forget all about that.
We can wipe out.
I'm
We can
kidding.
wipe
I'm
out.
kidding around.
But I understand that was a pretty bad moment. I got screwed in so rare because of that. But I don't want to talk too much about that. But
you're still steaming about it. Yeah.
But I'm still a bit steamy. And yes, you mentioned Kroos. Kroos in the Bernabeu. When he plays Bayern Munich, it will be his 150th game in the Champions League. Those are incredible numbers. And if you don't put Kroos in the same sentence as Iniesta, as Xavi, as a Stevie G, as a Lampard, if you only watch English football, mate, you should definitely watch Real Madrid play in the Bernabeu the next game, because we all know Kroos is about to go bold. Last season, Kroos was being mentioned to leave. No more, you see that. Consistency. And having a Jude Bellingham next to you improves a player, a veteran like Kroos, that can manage a lot more his minutes. Camavinga, Valverde, Tchouameni, Modric even too. Manageable. And I'm not even mentioning a Ceballos. That he's in all this.
Yeah.
So it's pure top football with Real Madrid. So I think Real Madrid are gonna beat Bayern Munich in the Bernabeu. Jude Bellingham masterclass to show that he has to win the Ballon d'Or. This is the game that people will judge you, mate. This is a game that you never scored in 9 previous matches against Bayern Munich. Now's the time to score. More than ever. More than ever.
Now is the
Vini will. I think Vini will.
I'm pretty confident. It's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I think Bellingham will get it done. But yeah. What do you think, though? And this is a little bit off the cuff, but what do you think the biggest worry for Real Madrid is at the Bernabeu?
Player-wise, is Kane.
Yeah.
Kane.
Yeah.
I do believe Kane. This is the main difference between Harry Kane and Erling Haaland. And I do believe Erling Haaland in 5 to 10 years will be a player that will show glimpses in this. It's the off-ball movement, coming to the midfield and creating play. Yeah. You need to want the ball. You need to create movement, energy. And Kane does a lot of that. Kane does a lot of unpredictable movements for a striker coming to midfield that we don't see Erling Haaland, that is closer to the center backs all game. Rudiger loved it. But Rudiger won't love playing against Harry Kane. And obviously playing against Kylian Mbappe if he goes through 2 and PSG go hella bold. But yeah, this is, it's going to be, I think he's the key factor. Yeah, and I think that's, I don't want to say pretty obvious. A player that is not obvious will be key towards beating Real Madrid if Bayern win is Mazraoui. Mazraoui had a lot of tough duels against Rodrigo. So if he's gonna where's the best side of Real Madrid? It's the left side. It's the left wing side. It's where Vini's comfortable. It's where Rodrigo drops a lot. It's where those runs happen all the time. So they need to block that. And It has to be Masrui. So it's bold.
All right.
It's a
So second leg score for you will be.
I'll go with Real Madrid beating in the Bernabeu 3-1. 2 goals
3-1.
of Vini,
Okay.
another 2 goals, and a goal of Jude Bellingham.
All right. I was
And
going to
Harry
say
Kane
2-1.
scores
Okay.
2-1.
I was going to say 2-1, and I'm going to say that Kane scores another penalty. Yeah, but that's it. But let's
it's still a goal.
It is still a goal. But hey, Bayern Munich we've talked about it before. They've got the muscle memory to do this. They have no domestic worries whatsoever. Obviously, there's very, very little going on between. There's only a week between these two legs, so it's not as if there's too much time to think about it. But they've got nothing necessarily to prove in the Bundesliga. That's already lost and gone. So it's a dangerous time. I'm going to be interested to see if Thomas Tuchel has anything up his sleeve once again tactically for the Bernabeu. Something tells me they're not sitting back. They're going to take the game at them because I don't think there's a lot of trust right now in this defense. So I'm going to be really interested to see how high octane Bayern is from the get-go, and whether or not Real Madrid gets rattled. But we know what happens when they get rattled early, regardless whether it's at away or home. Rodrigo winds up scoring a injury time brace to send them on the way. Yeah, it could happen.
And another player, I'm sorry not to say, and we obviously Thomas Müller. We love Thomas Müller, and Thomas Müller is a player that in these games, Matt Hummels made a difference in Sinal Iduna Park. Who could say that Thomas Müller will not make the difference in the Bernabeu? You cannot. So I just wanted to shout that out. Shout that out too. But yes.
True. But you're alluding to the bigger win in this particular one, and it is the yellow wall and Dortmund with a 1-0 lead over PSG on their way back to the Parc des Princes. And I just have to ask you, are you worried if you're PSG? Are you
You are
shaking in your boots?
You are extremely worried. I think I think this PSG team next season will be mega upgraded. I know they won't have Kylian Mbappe. I think it's a big, obviously, the team. I don't want to say big upgrade. Rephrase. I want to say they'll be looking different, but they'll be looking more of a collective. I think this midfield, Vitinha, Warren Zaire-Emery, they're looking good with the double pivot. Bad news for Ugarte. And Xavi Simons will be a lot more efficient than Fabian Ruiz. I think Fabian Ruiz is a good squad player. I think he's a good player. Don't take me wrong. But Xavi Simons will put this team at another level. It's a player that will want to prove himself, Xavi Simons, as a world-class player. And this season, I think they miss another midfielder that can have the final pass. Fabian Ruiz has done that given moments. Against Barca, he did it. But against Dortmund, a lot of moments that you were asked more, Fabian Ruiz, and you didn't deliver in that instance, in my view. So I am worried. Luis Enrique has to be worried. I do believe Vitinha is the best midfielder in these two teams, PSG and Dortmund. And I think in Parc des Princes, we're going to see a masterclass of Vitinha. And I'd like to see Kylian Mbappe playing at the left wing. Sorry, Barcola, but put the man on the wing. He's going to destroy Dortmund with that space and give the best left side. Nuno Mendes needs that support too. So it wasn't too good. And obviously Sancho will be cooking again. So PSG, I don't like seeing how they went to this game. I think tactically, Luis Enrique is a top manager. Don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't have put Kylian Mbappe at striker. No. It happens.
I mean, Kylian Mbappe has basically said as much, correct? Long term. But no, I think Dortmund obviously deserves credit. I think Aiden Terzic, while I'm reluctant to give him credit, he was right to basically credit the collective, right? That basically the team, they have a team that works incredibly well as the collective. This is different than when Haaland was there. This is different than even even a little
Bellingham,
bit
yeah.
like last year when Bellingham was there. This is a team that essentially sells off all their best young stars and then tries to get it right once again and keeps that going. But right now they're relying on guys you've already mentioned, right? Mats Hummels, Marcel Sabitzer, Nicholas Füllkrug, Julian Brandt, who's been there
Schlotterbeck.
before, Nicholas Sule. And then they're relying, their best players were like loan from Chelsea, Ian Maatsen, Jadon Sancho with 12 dribbles completed. The last time somebody did that in a UCL semifinal, it was a certain person named Leo Messi in 2008.
Mads.
That's
Sancho.
Yeah.
He showed up to show to Erik ten Hag another incompetent decision. I'm sorry. I had enough with this man, okay? It cannot make sense in my head that Erik ten Hag thinks Rashford should start at left wing. Rashford is the reason. Rashford should have been sold long time ago from Man United. Man United's future is with Garnacho at left wing, Rasmus Højlund at striker, and Jadon Sancho at right wing. This man is the best right winger. Look. Jadon Sancho versus Bukayo Saka is a real talk when Jadon Sancho is played the right way. And if you disagree, I honestly think you're Arsenal fans. Because if you see this UCL game, I haven't seen in the last decade an Arsenal player play like this in a UCL semi-final. I'm sorry, I haven't.
Well,
why? Because it hasn't happened. Okay, so top player.
It is pretty amazing to see that, considering it was what, 80 million pounds? 80 million pounds? Is that what
80 million, yeah.
Yeah.
But
oh
it
my
was
goodness, and that was only
decision.
a few short years ago. But yes, Jadon Sancho. Listen, his resurgence here. If he does it at the Parc des Princes again, right? But his resurgence here, believe it or not, is good for all parties,
100%.
Erik ten Hag included, because that means if Erik ten Hag and Will Cox and what's his name,
Omar Berrada
in the future, Omar Barada in the future, if they decide that Jadon Sancho, if that link essentially between the two cannot be reestablished, they at least have sizable value here, that they can recoup some of that feedback. But in the end, I mean, I'm rooting for Jadon Sancho. It's a wonderful resurgence to see. We all had a feeling it was going to happen.
Oh yeah.
And he just needed a little coddling. Let's be honest. But this playing in front of the yellow wall.
Yes.
Is very different than the Parc des Princes. The yellow wall, they have an 11-game streak in the UCL at home. And yeah, Jamie Carragher can certainly attest to this. But they have won 7 wins. They've got 7 wins, 4 draws in their last 11 UCL home legs. So it is very much an atmosphere thing, one that I know I want to check off my bucket list at some point. That's for damn sure.
For sure, Breton. Gio Reyna was there too. Pulisic was there too.
Gosh.
There's going to be another American you're going to see, because Dortmund, they got a lot of scouts in a lot of places too. And
Cole
Sancho.
Campbell.
Oh,
Cole Campbell.
He's already there.
He'll be
Love
the
it.
next. He's already there. Jack Mize will be there in the future. You'll see these names come on up.
Dropping names. Love it. And if you're listening until now, just comment down below the predictions. I'm going to say it again. And like this video. Come on. Because what I'm going to say next, I think you're going to agree. And things you agree, I think you should like too. I think Marcus Rashford doesn't deserve as much as Jadon Sancho to be in this England squad. Jadon Sancho shows that he's a Champions League level type player. Jadon Sancho shows that he's one of the best dribblers in the world. And Jadon Sancho shows that he's much more talented than Marcus Rashford. So Marcus Rashford doesn't have consistency. Marcus Rashford has to test his waters in other places. And Marcus Rashford must be scoring a lot more goals and having more assists and playing a lot more. So I wanted to have this message because a lot of Man United fans defend Rashford. I'm not going to say I respect that. I'm going to say, look, you're a Man United fan. You're defending your players. I understand that. But one thing you got to accept, it's that things move on. And I think Marcus Rashford is a player that he stopped with time. And Erik ten Hag had a good period of time with him last season, of 3 months. But it was a honeymoon period. Honeymoon. It's when the contract
Yeah.
extension talks happen. It's a honeymoon.
I just think, there's just momentum obviously has shifted here, and momentum is going to be everything heading into the Euros. And Southgate, I agree with you in that Southgate is going to have an actual selection issue
Oh man,
if
can't.
Jadon Sancho goes to the Parc des Princes and replicates his performance that he put on at the
Cole
Signal
Palmer,
Iduna.
Jadon Sancho, new players are arriving that have to be in this England squad. Rashford should not be there. And Anthony Gordon deserves more than Marcus Rashford. Southgate has to make this decision. I'm glad Kobe Maino's already showed that he's a player to be in this England squad too. But Rashford, I'm sorry. No, they got to move on. They got to move on. Or he moves on. Look. Imagine if it had happened. Imagine if Marcus Rashford had gone to PSG and now he would be like a key player for them to win a Champions League. All this conversation would be different. But that didn't happen. It's the what if. Sancho is not a man of what ifs. He's a man of showing up. And he showed up against PSG. Against Kylian Mbappe.
But he was kind of out of sorts for 6-7 months.
Because he didn't play in the right system.
He is showing up now at the right times. Oh no, I'm there with you. If this Dortmund return did not materialize, I do wonder if he could have done that or replicated anywhere else. I think he needed to go back to where he had been previously.
Imagine how Sancho felt as a player.
I'm with you.
Seeing that Garnacho was playing. Imagine how Sancho felt as a player when Garnacho's best position is at left wing, but he's playing at right winger. And Sancho's best position is right winger. He's like, come on. This can't happen. Ten Hag can't do this to me. Ten Hag trusted me. He put me in a training course like 3 months, like to Amsterdam even at that time. But England call up is gonna happen because this guy, top man. And Jamie Carragher, shout out to you. You made my day. I absolutely that was really funny that interview
for the first time. It's beautiful stuff. Their coverage. You can disagree with those guys all you want and their ball knowledge and whatever, but you cannot disagree with the fact that they make game day entertaining for all the masses, whether you are a diehard fan or you are a casual fan or somebody tuning in for the first time. They really do make things exciting on game day. So I love that. And but you're right. Like Jadon Sancho and the Dortmund win have higher implications.
Even
hold on, higher
completed by an English player in a game. Jadon Sancho. Just
dang right. Dang right. I mean, that's the thing, and I think everyone's discounting it. Probably those that aren't Sancho fans are discounting it simply because I don't know. I really don't know. This is a UCL semifinal. He could have hidden in a hole, but instead he got up, he stood up, and he was one of the best on the field. And frankly, he overshadowed Kylian Mbappe on the day.
Exactly.
I think Kylian Mbappe is going to make reparations for that in the next leg at the Parc des Princes. But the win at Signal Iduna for Dortmund has bigger implications. Even if Dortmund do not win the UCL, they will still have Champions League ball next season, whether or not Jadon Sancho is there with them. And that's because they got the extra spot. They are fifth place right now in the Premier League, in the Bundesliga, which means fifth place now will go to the Champions League. And it's very likely that that'll wind up being Dortmund. And they can also, because of that, you've got a team like Stuttgart, which we'll talk about during the podcast on Sunday, 100%. But a team like Stuttgart who was fighting for their Bundesliga life last season, now going to play Champions League football with the likes of Enzo Milo, Angelo Stiller, Serhu Guirassy, Denis Undav. It's a wonderful, wonderful story.
Alexander Dubov.
And I guess they can all come back.
Great
keeper.
They
can all come back, and they can thank Jadon Sancho. They can thank Nico Schlotterbeck. They can thank Mats Hummel for all that, because it was a heck of a show put on the day. And to be honest, 1-0 does not do that game justice. 1-0 does not do that game justice at all, because both teams probably should have had 3 or 4 goals when all was said and done. No?
Well, I understand where you're coming from, but still, it's going to be a very interesting game. What are your predictions, Breton?
Well, I mean, it's Kylian Mbappe, and it's PSG, and I think if Marquinhos plays as well as he did, if Donnarumma plays as well as he did, if some of the goals that they hit the post twice. Achraf Hakimi hit the post. Kylian Mbappe hit the post. They had several chances. Yep. I do believe that they'll fight back. They'll get it done. But I can't discount this Dortmund team, who I've been I don't understand how this is the same Dortmund team that got throttled by RB Leipzig over the weekend with about only resting 4 players, if that. I don't understand it. I mean, Jadon Sancho was the best player on the field for them in a 4-1 loss over the weekend. And then they come out and they take it to PSG. Like, I still believe long-term Dortmund has again lost their DNA, as you were mentioning with Bayern before them, which is they have not done a very good talent identification job in terms of getting the next Jude Bellingham after they've sold him, in terms of getting the next Erling Haaland after they've sold him. But you know what? Sometimes DNA changes for the better. If it's that Nicholas Füllkrug is destined to score the match winner at Wembley on June 1st, then so be it, man. So be it.
Füllkrug could do it.
I think it'll be PSG.
So your final for the Champions League prediction is?
Yeah. PSG versus Real Madrid.
PSG remontada. Kylian Mbappe will score how many goals?
They've done it before. I think he'll score, I'm going to say 2 in the final.
Imagine if but in the semifinal,
the second leg, I'm sorry.
Got you.
It is
he could score. He could do a hat trick. It could happen. I'm gonna go with PSG Real Madrid also. Come on, Luis Enrique.
Wow.
Okay, I'm not gonna be Michael Richards, Jamie Carragher, Kate Abdo, and Thierry Henry. I trust you, Luis Enrique. Okay, and Vitinha, the best Porto product ever from Olival. That's a bold statement, but it's a statement that people can say. So show up in the Champions League semi-final. And Real Madrid, come on. I believe they're going to be at the other side. But who do you believe will be at the other side? Let us know in the comment section down below. It's the 3rd time I say it, so you might as well, please, if you're listening until now, go and just do it, okay? Thank you so much if you just did it. And thank you for listening until now, people. You are the best, and you keep going bold.